most people would probably consider that a certain level of anxiety. And if it is, I will own that because anxiety tracks with me. I am somebody that thinks into the future probably a little bit more than you should as a human. Here we are. What is up, loved ones? It is your girl Lolo. Today was a very interesting day for me because I was really in a space of feeling pretty unproductive. I'm not even gonna lie. And I was like, man, I just feel like on those days when I am productive, it never feels like there's enough time in the day. And then the days that you're not feeling the most productive, you're like, why can't I figure out something to do with myself? So, as I was thinking about, damn, what should I do today? I genuinely just could not get myself to focus on anything. I did a little bit of work, but it was nowhere near as much work as I normally do when I am productive. I was like, man, this is really a frustrating experience right now. I caught myself being like, why do I feel this way? Like, why am I like borderline feeling almost sad of what's going on? But because we can be anxious and always thinking of productivity, we feel like the more we work, the harder we work, the quicker the results we're going to get and the faster we can get to our future selves that we see in our head every day that motivates us. And it just really had me thinking about what it takes to have your present self match your future self. And what is that process? What does that look like? Because the thing with me feeling sad about being unproductive is because the version of myself that I see is truly like a full-blown empire. My dream for myself is nothing small. I am trying to do something that I don't think anyone has ever done, especially in the disability community. The things that I'm trying to achieve, the businesses I'm trying to grow. If y'all saw my 10-year plan for myself of like where I see myself in 10 years, baby, next level. Your girl's going to be somewhere else, very far from where I'm at now. Okay. Not to even say like with where I'm at now was like a bad thing. I'm just saying like, I just see something so much bigger, so many entrepreneurial efforts, everything that someone like a Kevin Hart has his hands in, or The Rock, or Rihanna. That's what I want for myself. That's where I see my future and my career moving, and doing that all in spite of having a disability to prove that it can be done. So when I was feeling unproductive today, I was almost feeling this, I don't know how to explain it, but it was a little interesting of almost like maybe my future self was like, girl, what you doing sitting down, not doing nothing? What you mean you ain't got nothing to work on? Girl, we have this going on, we have that going on. What you doing? You not in the mood. And is that the healthiest mindset to have? No, it's not, because nobody should be a complete workaholic. But when you have that vision in your head of who you are and how you see yourself, baby, it's really hard to not listen to that voice sometimes. And so when I was having this conversation with my friend, that's essentially what we were talking about. That feeling of being like, damn, there's so much more I should be doing. Why is this happening or that happening or whatever the case is? A lot of it, honestly, is living in LA. If you don't live in LA or New York, when you live in cities like this, you are in constant fight or flight mode because of how much it costs to live out here. All you're trying to do is make your dreams come true. But they don't make this shit easy out here. Not even a little bit. When you're in constant fight or flight mode, rent is due, you ain't been booked in God knows how long or whatever, you really do start to like borderline panic and question yourself and question your abilities and why isn't this happening yet? So for me, I have these dreams of having a team. We're almost in a conference room situation. A bunch of us cute little girlies drinking matcha, and everybody's got their laptops out. I'm leading the charge, and I'm like, okay, what's happening over here on this side? What's going on over here? What's the update on such and such? Blah, 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 blah. And that was a vision that was in my head that was making me a little frustrated because that's not happening with me right now. I don't have that team. I am a team of one trying to launch multiple businesses, work towards a popular career so I can have resources to do this and all the things. So I was just getting really frustrated that it's not happening right here, right now in this moment. And honestly, I don't want to say that I'm not close, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I'll put it that way. And so he was like, if that's the vision you have in your head, if that's the motivator that you have in your head, he said, then write that vision down and be very specific. How many people are in the room? What are they wearing if you can see it? What else do they have besides a matcha and a laptop? Like, what do you see for real? Because when you can get clarity around the vision, you can then put yourself, your current self, in position to meet that goal. Because I'm a firm believer that God just don't put visions in your head for no reason. He's putting the vision in your head because he knows you can handle it. You just got to do your work to get there. Now, that's my personal belief. Next thing was, in order to lead a team, you have to become a leader first. Now, granted, I know some of y'all may think what I do here on social media is to a degree leading. And yes, it is. In order to lead a team, you have to be very clear about what the vision is. You understand what I'm saying? You see where I'm going? You see how this all kind of domino effects into each other? So if I have to be the leader and I have to become the leader, what type of leader do I want to become? Am I Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada? Or do I want to be someone like Kevin Hart or Rihanna? I don't know how they are in corporate business, like when they really talk about business, but based on interviews and documentary stuff that I've seen, they seem to be really chill, but like, they ain't playing. Do I want to be that kind of person? And if so, then how do you envision yourself moving now to become that person in the close to near future? And that's where I am at today with it. How can I keep showing up for the community? How can I keep getting bigger and better and more advanced in what it is I'm already doing to really just keep the vision alive, keep the vision going? I just thought it was a very mind-opening conversation, a really beautiful reality check of Lauren. This ain't just me. I know this is everybody. We want our dreams to come true so bad. But sometimes we want them so bad but we still not prepared to receive them yet. And you know what the number one telltale sign is that you're not prepared to receive the dream you're asking for? It's because you ain't had it yet. It ain't become in full fruition yet. You see what I'm saying? That's just my belief though. So it's kind of like you can stop being down on yourself in that way. Because I was feeling really down. Damn, I'm over here bullshitting. This ain't even really hitting right. God said, you just need to bake on it a little bit more. You need a little bit more preparation. You need to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more clear. You need to do this for a little bit longer. Because if you believe in me, you know what's going to happen. It's going to happen bigger and better than you even thought it was. I gave you just a little bit of it because I knew if I showed you everything, you would get overwhelmed and you would crash out. I don't want you crashing out. I need you to stay as focused as possible. I need you to really believe that you could do it. So I gave you just enough, girlfriend. Just enough. Why hasn't this come into fruition for real for me yet? It's just because you got a little bit more cooking to do. And a lot of times, we may think it has to do with the exact thing. For me, when I think about becoming the leader that I desire to become because of the empire I plan on building for myself, one of the things that I know I have to work on is speaking up for myself. Because I am very bold in many ways, but I am a person that will avoid conflict as much as I possibly can. I just don't do well with it. I just never have. I'm not a fan of it. It gets me to shut down. But it's like when you're doing business, that's naturally going to come up. I got to be better at making decisions and like sticking to them, you know? Because in order to be an effective leader, you've got to learn how to mediate. You've got to learn how to speak up for yourself. You got to learn how to be able to say, nah, that ain't it. I know how passionate you are, XYZ team member, but that ain't it. I don't like that. That ain't working for me. That's not on brand. That's not the vision. No, go back to the drawing board. But not like in a mean way, but in an honest way. I've got to learn how to do that better. Because honestly, I know that I'm not the strongest at doing that. And that's just an honest reflection of myself, you know? So it's bigger than just being like, oh, I got to find people to be on my team. That's not always just the only thing I got to work on between now and my future self. I got to work on me as an individual, trying to make these dreams come true. So I really hope that helped y'all. I just know it was such a revelation for me. And it was something that I was really thinking about of, man, how do I keep growing as an individual to then become the version of myself on the business side of who I want to be. Again, because they're personal skills, they would also be skills that apply in other areas of my life. You can't, for me, this is me talking to myself, you can't say you want to be a wife and you're still nervous or scared of conflict. You're going to have conflict in your relationship. And so the more you learn how to speak up for yourself and address conflict and even honestly reframe what conflict actually means in your head in order to become the person that, you know, you really see yourself desiring to be. But you got to really hone in on those skills and become better at those skills. So that way, not only are you going to be better in business at it, but you can be better in your personal relationships, in your romantic relationships, family relationships, whatever it is. And I think ultimately that's the goal. So if there is anyone else out there that has any tips who maybe did achieve their future goal and remember when they were their past selves to now their new present self, go ahead, leave a comment, drop some tips, some advice. Anybody who's working on this for themselves right now, go ahead, drop a comment, give some advice, some thoughts, some feelings. Am I the only one that's feeling this way? Am I the only one that be really having to think like this? Let me know. But until next time, loved ones, this is the final makeup look. Way more glammy than I expected, but that's okay. We're leaning into it. All right. Until next time, loved ones. Bye.